On today's special Triple Sonic review, we're going to be looking at Chaos and Big the Cat from Wave 11, as well as Movie Supersonic from Wave 2 of the movie figures. Let's go.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to another Sonic the Hedgehog Jakks specific review. I have an entire playlist. If you haven't checked out any of the previous reviews, I reviewed every one of the 4.5-inch figures that are unique, some of the repaints, and a lot of the 2.5-inch figures. So if you haven't seen any of those videos, go check them out. Today we're going to be specifically looking at the Movie Supersonic, Big the Cat, as well as Chaos. Movie Supersonic's getting kind of thrown in here because I got him. I couldn't find the entire Wave 2 at my stores. I did see Sonic and Knuckles, but Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. Tails didn't wear this helmet in the movie. Sonic and Knuckles have extra electricity effects. This is honestly kind of better accessory loadouts than Wave 1 for sure, but because I have the Wave 1 versions of these, I don't really feel like I need these, so I kind of passed them on by. The accessories are kind of cool because you get like Sonic with the map to the Master Emerald, the pouch of rings he's got. Knuckles has the portal ring, Tails has his little drone thing and his backpack. So cool little stuff to add to the figures. Definitely better accessories for sure. But I don't know. It felt a little redundant to me. And if I can save 30 bucks in this crazy toy collecting world, I will. But of course I did get Supersonic because he is new for this wave. Powered by Emerald Energy, Supersonic is the ultimate hero. Pretty cool. So we'll look at him first, and then we'll crack into the Wave 11 guys. We've got Big the Cat, star of Sonic Frontiers and Sonic Prime. It's kind of crazy. He's made a resurgence lately. But Big is really, really cool looking. He does come with an accessory that's not what you sort of would expect, but he is filling out the packaging. Like, that's why these card backs are so big, is for guys like Big. And then on the back here, of course, we can see the whole wave. There is a repack of Sonic and Knuckles. I didn't pick those up because they're basically the same figures with slightly different accessories. Though a gentle giant, Big is not afraid to fight for his friends if they are in danger. So pretty nice. And then rounding it out is the first ever action figure of Chaos from Sonic Adventure, which is really, really cool. I love that Jakks is doing characters like Chaos, like Omega, that have never had figures before, and it's just really, really nice to see. Plus, we get the Master Emerald, which is not just, oh, hey, here's a small emerald that's green. It's actually like a lot bigger than the other emeralds. So we'll, of course, compare and contrast. On here, of course, an ancient god whose power flows that consumes the negative energy of the Chaos Emeralds. So yeah, let's get to it. We'll do Supersonic, we'll do Big, and then we'll do Chaos in this nice little review. Alright, so here is Supersonic. Now this one, much like every other Supersonic, is incredibly hard to balance because for some reason, if you stand him up straight, with every Supersonic figure I've ever owned, they just do that. With the quills pointed up in like the Super Saiyan hair from Dragon Ball thing, it just throws off his balance. So luckily, he's got joints, so he can kind of teeter-totter his way into balance. But we got that, which is pretty good. Now, it does come with the Master Emerald. Now, in the Sonic movie universe, the Master Emerald is the combination of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, as opposed to being a separate emerald that powers the Chaos Emeralds. This one is pretty cool. I mean, this is the combined Master Emerald in its, shape that it is in the movie. And what's pretty nice is that Jakks didn't just repack the video game Green Chaos Emerald. They actually remolded it. So it's actually pretty nice because you can see that this is a different shape. It's a different design. It's still got the same basic premise of like the same peg on the bottom. So if you wanted to put it on one of the little accessory stands that come with some of the playsets, you got that. But it is a different shape. So it does look like a different accessory, which is really, really nice to see because it gives it some distinction to the movie. Now, of course, it's like, I think too big. I'm not exactly sure on scale. Scale with Sonic stuff is weird for me. I can't ever figure it out exactly. But it does look a little big, but that's just how the accessories go with these figures. Now, in terms of Supersonic, like I said, it's basically just the movie Sonic, but with Super Saiyan hair. And just in general, he's got the mouth, the little, slightly crooked paint app. Slightly crooked paint app, gotta love it. But you can see he's got the red eyes and everything. What's interesting is just like with my 2.5-inch, slight comparison spoiler, there's just like a random black spot on the back of this one. There's a random black spot in the plastic. This happens on yellow plastic a lot. It's a strange phenomenon. But I mean, it looks pretty good. In general, this is a harder material, but the points are a little bit softer. So while it is a hard plastic, the points are a little softer. So I think that'll help with the impalement factor, but then again, doing that kind of hurt. These points are really hard, and then some of these other ones are a little softer, so it's kind of a weird 50-50. In terms of other details, I mean, it's mostly just movie Sonic body in yellow or gold down to the shoes, which I always love the shoes. But articulation-wise, he's got the 360 head, he's got the shoulders that move out, the shoulders that move 360, the elbows that bend and swivel, and then the wrists that swivel, and the hips that move forward, they swivel out. You can bend the knee, swivel the knee, which isn't too helpful in most cases. And then the ankle is ball joint, so you can go left and right and side to side, which allows him to balance out as Supersonic. Let's get him in the kind of like powered up pose. I don't know why they gave him the open hands besides just we're reusing parts from the regular Sonic. Would have liked fists for Supersonic, but there you go. There is Supersonic. So now, of course, like I said, here's a comparison with the 2.5-inch Supersonic, which came with that really terrible Eggman battle robot playset I reviewed. I did not like that thing. I bought it mostly because it was like, oh, Sonic movie toy, and then, oh, it comes with Supersonic, and yeah, did not like it. But there he is with that. Now, this guy, he had rubber feet, rubber hands, the plastic body, and then his whole head was rubber because he's supposed to be like a flinging accessory. So it's nice to get a Supersonic that can not only pose better, look a little better, but also doesn't have the rubber problem, though he does have the stability issue still. And then, of course, you know, the other comparison we always make with Supersonic around here with regular Sonic. So you can see there, regular Sonic stands. God, every Sonic has stability problems. I don't know why I'm singling out Super. But anyways, there you go. You got Sonic and Supersonic. They look proper next to each other here. And in true Sonic fashion, they cannot stand without a lot of adjustment. Of course, you know, we'll bring in everybody else from the 4.5-inch movie line. There's Knuckles, here's Tails. I guess I'll just put Tails over here. And then here is the Eggman, who is a little, you know, I think we talked about this in plenty of videos. Eggman usually scales better to the 2.5-inch figures than the 4.5-inch, but this is what we got. He looks like way too tiny. You know, this is just how the line goes. But there's our 5 unique molds for the 4.5-inch line for the movie. And I guess that's it for now. I guess let's see when movie 3 comes out. Maybe we'll get some other figures. But for now, these are pretty nice. And the Supersonic's a good addition to the lineup. I nearly forgot. Here is movie Supersonic with video game Supersonic. It is a battle of who has no stability. Wow. Apparently, movie Supersonic lost. So switching back to video game world, we have Big the Cat. Big the Cat debuted in Sonic Adventure. He was one of the 6 playable characters, and I think most people didn't like his levels the most. The Sonic Adventure game is great, but Big the Cat's actual like fishing mini game was really confusing, weird, and doesn't work all that well, to be honest. I don't enjoy his levels, but I don't hate Big. I think he's like this nice little sweet cat that probably has some form of ADHD because he always goes chasing after a tiny frog. I think he's great. Now, some people I think are still upset at his levels, like it's Big's fault. No, that was some sadistic designer's fault. But the point is that Big the Cat is a nice character, and I always wanted him in the line. However, I do have one minor complaint, and it's not even a complaint, it's a nitpick, because I can totally counter as why this didn't happen. So, Big the Cat recently was in Sonic Frontiers, where he once again is fishing in a much better fishing minigame that's not required for the main story, but it's just to get additional items in the game, and also be kind of a fun fishing minigame for an open world game. I like it. I like fishing with Big. Now, the thing is due to the nature of this is a $10 US action figure that is a unique mold and is a huge, big old chunk of plastic, his accessories are 2 rings. So, you know, it's not that it's a bad thing. 2 rings is nice. This is the only accessory they could probably fit in the budget for this brand new, newly sculpted and painted figure that's $10 at retail. It is a slight problem, though, if you just came off Sonic Frontiers, one of your Big the Cat figure. Hey, Sonic, you want to go fishing? Well, too bad. I don't have a fishing rod, and neither do you. Yeah, so Big doesn't have his fishing rod, and that's the only major actual problem I have with this figure, because otherwise he's fantastic. This is sort of like when Espio didn't include a kunai. It's like, it's a budget thing. I get it. But the fact these figures are still like $10, especially with how big he is. I mean, here he is. Here's Sonic. Sonic came with a, I don't know, whichever version of Sonic you get comes with a different accessory, but, you know, they are much, much differently scaled figure-wise. And what's also really impressive with Big is he's actually really articulated. So not only do we have all this intricate paint detail, which I think looks really good on him. Honestly, he's really well painted. There is like one minor blemish on mine, which is this little like scratch that came up. But otherwise, really nicely painted, even down to like the buckle of his... He just wears a belt. Dude doesn't have pants. Anyways, but articulation-wise, his head turns left and right a bit. It doesn't need to go super far. It's not like he's a huge looker, but I mean, that's pretty good. These shoulders move out. These shoulders would move 360 if you can get them past his ears. You got the elbows that are kind of stiff, but they do bend. So they do adjust. They can go straight out, or they can get a little bit of an angle, and they do rotate left and right. Wrists swivel. He's got the legs that swivel. They move forward and backwards, and then they also have a bit of an adjustment at the foot as well. So you can actually sort of have him in a walking, running pose sort of thing here. You can sort of do it. I mean, I'm sure you can do it better, but he does have some adjustments in the legs, which is really nice. And then his tail does swing. I wish it did have an extra hinge to pull down, but it does swing. This is how it's kind of packed, and you can swing it up and back or over here. But, you know, honestly, I don't really have any other problems with this figure. I think he's great. He is, of course, a $10 figure that is very large, and so there is some drawbacks. I mean, he's not super duper articulated, but also due to the design, he wasn't going to be. And yeah, the accessories are a bit of a bummer, but honestly, yeah, outside of missing like a fishing rod, which I assume just wasn't in the budget, this is a really solid release. The other nice part is, unlike the Jazzwares one, he doesn't cost extra. The Jazzwares one was sold at a larger price point, and yeah, I mean, here we go. Look at the size scaling here. I think the Jazzwares one proportionally is larger to its figures, but honestly, I think this big figure is fine. Like, scale-wise, that works for me, much like Omega worked for me. And then in terms of the Jazzwares one, it actually has less articulation overall, even though the Jazzwares ones usually had more, because it doesn't have any elbow swivels, and the feet only have one joint here. And his tail is permanently stuck out back. It can't fold away nicely. Now, of course, the Jazzwares one did come with Froggy, but I can imagine we'll probably see Froggy as a 2.5-inch figure to go with Big later. And honestly, if you have the Jazzwares one, doesn't look that bad out of scale with the Jakks specific one. But we're going to take these guys away for now, because we're mostly focused on the Jakks specific line. And specifically, this is yet another addition to the Sonic Heroes lineup. Here's Amy. They look great together. We're just missing Cream the Rabbit and Cheese the Chow, because that would finish off Team Rose from Sonic Heroes. So it's always nice to see that we're kind of building the collection forward, not just for Sonic Adventure, but things like Sonic Heroes as well. What's also nice with Sonic Prime coming up soon, we actually seemingly have all the main characters that we've got confirmed for that show in the Jakks line, which is fantastic. All right, here is Chaos. Before we look at him, let's look at this Master Emerald. So this Master Emerald's pretty neat. It is a gigantic Chaos Emerald, so it does look proportional to the Master Emerald size in the games. Now, like, the Chaos Emeralds are too big, I think, for the figures overall. The Master Emerald is also kind of too small. It's meant to be a representation. I think of this line, exact scale is not a concern here. The Master Emerald is usually like really gigantic. This is too big even for the 2.5, or too small for the 2.5-inch figures even. But of course, you know, Knuckles protects the Master Emerald, so Knuckles will protect the Master Emerald. But what I think is great is that, you know, we have the Chaos Emeralds, which should be like palm-sized for like Sonic and Friends, and they're like way too big, because if they were palm-sized, they'd be too small for safety laws. But I think when you have the Master Emerald here, and then you get the other Chaos Emeralds, which we still are waiting on one of these to be released. It's funny, we got the Master Emerald before we got the last of the Chaos Emeralds released. And you can see here that proportionately, it's like, okay, we got Chaos Emeralds, there's a Master Emerald. So I think that works out pretty good, and I like the way they look, because they used a similar sculpt for the Master Emerald with the accessory peg spot on the bottom so it stands. So it's a similar sculpt to the Chaos Emeralds, but it's a different green than the green Chaos Emerald. And then also it's incredibly hollow. This is just a hollow thing. These are like solid molded like resin type material, where they're all the way through solid plastic. This one's hollow. And part of me slightly wishes this opened up and you could fit all the other Chaos Emeralds inside, but that's a movie Sonic thing. But adding to that, the Master Emerald from the movie it's actually kind of the same sculpt too. So while it looks in line with the video game ones, design-wise, it's actually got that longer base of the movie ones. So it's honestly possible that they use the same sculpt for the movie Master Emerald as well as the video game one. Just the video game one is larger and hollow, whereas the movie one was done like the other Chaos Emeralds. So let's get all these out of the way. I think the Chaos Emeralds are a great collecting piece for the line, and I do like the Master Emerald. And the other part about the Master Emerald, it's almost normal Chaos Emerald size for us humans. So that's actually kind of makes it a really cool hand prop too. But really cool accessory bonus, and I think, honestly, it makes sense for Chaos to come with this. But let's look at Chaos himself. Look at it. Look at this thing. So in the game, Sonic Adventure, it's sort of a water demon. Like Chaos looks like a water demon, and in order to do that in figure form, that means they're clear plastic. Look at that. You can see through. It's really, really cool, and it gives them that look of that living water construct that they have in the games, except now it's sort of, yeah, no, it actually works as a physical figure this way. There's very little paint, which is probably why they could include a giant Master Emerald. There's just a little bit of highlighting on the top of the head here, as well as the eyes. Otherwise, it is just plastic, but it looks exactly how Chaos should. Chaos was doing like water physics for the Dreamcast, was kind of its... Why is it sticky there? That's weird. Little sticky spot on the back of their tendril. Anyway, so Chaos here, pretty nice. I do like the overall like transparentness to it. Hopefully, I mean, this does feel like a really sturdy, like, clear plastic, more like the material of the Chaos Emeralds than, say, like, the windshields on Transformers. But what's really cool is you can actually kind of see the details of some of the joints in here, like where the elbow joint's plugged in, or the detents that exist in the shoulder to hold it sturdy, which I think is really, really kind of cool from an engineering perspective to see that sort of detail on these figures. But yes, he does have articulation. We got left and right head swivel, shoulders that move out, shoulders that move 360, elbow bend, elbow swivel, wrist swivel, hips that move forward and out, knees that bend, and then knees that rotate, as well as ankles that pivot left and right. So anyways, pretty cool. So you can get Chaos in some cool poses. They look pretty great. Let's balance it out here. Boom. Chaos. Yeah. And I think putting it with the Master Emerald here, pretty nice overall. Scale-wise for this form of Chaos, because Chaos does have multiple forms in the game, this form of Chaos here, pretty good scale-wise, I think, to Sonic, because it's the more humanoid form. So honestly, looks pretty nice. It's nice to get an adventure throwback to a character that hasn't really continued as much into modern games as some of the others. So it's really nice to see something like this, because it shows that Jakks is really committed to the Sonic line. And overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy with Chaos. This is a really, really amazing looking figure, and honestly, it feels nice and sturdy, and figure-wise, that's what I can ask for, especially when it's made entirely of clear plastic. But totally a win in my books. So honestly, all three of these figures are pretty great. The Super Sonic is kind of what you'd expect from the movie Super Sonic, because it's mostly just movie Sonic with a new head. Big the Cat, a great, unique, large figure for a line that only costs $10 a figure. Really great stuff. And Chaos, which is more of an older character done in a really cool transparent plastic, is just really excellent. I don't have any complaints with any of these figures. I think they're all great. I really do love Jakks' Sonic line, and I'm glad it's continuing. The next wave should include Jet the Swallow as well as Super Silver, who hopefully will have the last Chaos Emerald, but we haven't seen pictures of that, so these are likely the last figures in 2022 that are going to come out. I found these two at Target, I found Super Sonic at Walmart. Keep an eye out. Distribution, as always, is a little bit messy, but hopefully you can find them either in store or online. Overall, I'm pretty happy, and yeah, gonna keep buying this line. Nothing in the line so far has dissuaded me, especially when we're this close to the end of Chaos Emeralds, and we're nearly done with the Sonic Heroes cast. And it seems like we're getting Sonic Riders stuff in the next wave, which is super, super exciting. So to make sure you don't miss out on another Sonic video from me on this channel, be sure to hit subscribe and the notification bell. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment down below and tell me which Sonic figure you want to see next. Personally, I am holding out for Cream the Rabbit, including Cheese the Chow as an accessory. That would be perfect. But overall, I'm ready to take whatever Jakks will throw at me, because this line is great, and I love that it's kept at such a low price point without sacrificing quality. While we may lose accessories here or there, the quality of the figures is still really, really solid, and I really appreciate that, especially in this modern day of collecting. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Soundout12 if you want to see other videos, other different types of things, updates on the channel and such. And also be sure to check me out every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern, where I live stream discussing the week's news of toys, or I'm streaming a video game, or we're just sitting and chatting. It's a good time, so check it out. Also, be sure to check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for hero news and more, and also my awesome graphic designer on Twitter at darkclaw643. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.